Any other thing like business, when you come to school to study music.
Because a degree is so mass producible, it means that you're not really valuable.
So to use the word scam in relation to university is like a huge claim.
The job I have now is due to the connections I made in university.
University is a scam. Yes, no, I'm going to talk about it here right now. I'll just go off on why I brought this topic up. It has always been one of the recurring themes in my own life personally. I don't really bash it, but I'm like, is it really worth, some people pay a lot of money for it, some people don't. So I'm talking based off the people that pay a lot of money for it. Is it really worth that amount of money? Are they investing properly into their life, their career? And it depends. In my opinion, it depends. If you're someone that wants to be a doctor, yeah, you need to be certified and all that. Engineers too, they work on cars people use every day, fix roads and all that stuff. So I think it's ideal so that we get a particular standard. But any other thing like business, when you come to school to study music, come to school to study trading, my brother, man. I don't think you're doing it right. But if you can afford it, that's fair. But if you're taking loans, in my opinion, if you're taking loans, if your parents are selling their legs and their arms to be able to put you through
Take
on
some
your
loans
bills,
now.
man, it's just not advisable for me. Yeah, I'll just let TJ carry on and dive into more. But yeah, that's just the premise.
Not by justifying your drop-out nature.
Yeah?
Not by justifying it.
I'm speaking from experience here.
Let's just start with definitions. I like defining one. So the word scam is a noun and it means a dishonest scheme or a fraud. So to use the word scam in relation to university is like a huge claim. So like we'll have to dissect that first and say, okay, is university a dishonest scheme? What do you guys think about that? Do you think it's a dishonest scheme or a fraud?
It has its pros and cons. Let me just put it that way. I wouldn't have known that the space where I'm in now exists. Technology, 3D designs and whatnot. On the other hand, if I had learned this online, I wouldn't have spent the amount of money and time exactly to do all of that. But also at the same time, the job I have now is due to the connections I made in university. It's a bit of maybe not in that sense. And also, it would also depend on, what you are trying to do.
Universities, what they offer most people, I think they actually tell you, to be very frank, the benefits that you're going to get from them up front. I think the main issue for most people is that they expect other things from universities, which are never explicitly said. So some people think, if I go to this university, because most people that go to this university make X amount, therefore, if I go to this university, I will make X amount. But the university never really promised them that in the first place. The university just said, come here, we'll teach you blah, 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 and you get a degree. And that's the issue. There's this misalignment between what universities offer and what most people who are going to universities think they are going to get. So the universities are not scamming them necessarily, but the expectations that they have from those universities almost lead them to scam themselves, especially in countries like the US, to be honest, because at that point it's just like, you're just selling yourself, because how long will it take you to pay off that debt? Lots of Americans stay in debt for the rest of their life. You're still paying student loans until you die, and then they claim your house, which is like, that's basically slavery now. So you sold yourself. Yeah, I don't think you can actually you can't blame the universities, because as much as they don't promise you things, they kind of hint at those things. But is it really a scam if I don't tell you that you're going to get something from it and you just assume it, and I make it easy for you to assume it, Yeah, it's confusing, actually. But I wouldn't say it's an outright scam. It's mental games lots of the time.
In my opinion, it depends on the institution. And of course, the initial creation of the university was to have highly sophisticated individuals in a particular field of study. Right, that's why I feel it was, because in the old days, like our parents' age, we can clearly tell that it was a more valuable thing to go to university, because you're getting your money's worth. Your investment is going to give you huge returns at the end of the day. You're going to be almost, if not every time, securing a job, like a high-paying job because of your degree, and you're going to be classed above the regular people that don't go take a degree or something like that. Right?
Yes,
without a doubt. Now in this era, in this age, I think people are kind of dishonest with the way they push it. I don't know whether they're dishonest per se, or maybe I'll go off this now, so maybe they're just not as educated on,
their conditions to think it's certain way.
So I don't want to say that they're dishonest, because maybe they could be, because they could be or they could not be, but I would like to say that they are just not as educated and open to the idea of, I don't really need to be in this infrastructure to get this particular level of expertise or education. You get so I would say it's 50. It's kind of, I won't say 50-50, because I think most people know and see that if you get a degree, you do not get a job, you do not get a career, right? Like right now, most people can clearly tell and see that, oh, if I have this, whatever, I don't know what it looks like because I've never gotten one, probably will never get one. But that degree, whatever it looks like, once people know that once you're holding this,
it's just a small circle now, the degree.
Exactly. Be quiet, man.
You know that.
Once you're holding this thing, it doesn't guarantee you anything. What is more important, if you ask me, in university is the knowledge, and people always miss that. Is the knowledge that matters at the end of the day. Whether you're in the university, whether you're learning online, whether you're in Hustlers University, I don't know, wherever you're going to be, but it is the knowledge that matters. And of course, we will not rule out networking and all that, but that is something you can also get without being in the university. That's why I'm not going to add that. But the university kind of puts everybody that has like similar values or similar goals, because they're all trying to carve out a path for themselves. Like, when you have the faculty of science, or you have like the computer science department, everybody in this like region is connected in some way, whether the teachers, whether the HOD, whether the students, one way or the other, you guys are kind of still connected in the same bubble. So that gives you high quality networking, because you have like like-minded people around you, which could give you way better options, opportunity, job, all that stuff. Without a doubt, it gives you really high quality options when it comes to getting jobs, being around people of the same substance per se, like when it comes to career. But you can still also get that in the real world. So if you're asking me what you're going to university for, if anything, it's going to be for that high level of networking. And I don't even want to say the knowledge, because the knowledge is actually online, and most of these days it's free. Even in this university, they still send you online to go and study, for you to come and pass the exams. Like they will go on, give you like YouTube courses or something like that, put it together for you, and literally present it to you as something you're paying for $2,000 per session. Literally, they just pack these things together and give to you. So at the end of the day, I don't even think it's the knowledge. I just think, it is the high quality like network we build for you. Is it a scam? Is it not a scam? I don't think that will depend on what you are paying for. That will depend on the mindset you're getting into the university with, because if your dad is maybe like it was your dad or your parent that pushed you to get into the university, and he's telling you, oh, you're going into the university, this is going to be safe, this is going to keep you safe, you're going to secure a job, then you're being scammed. I'm sorry to tell you, you're actually being scammed. That's deceitful, because that's not the truth.
Something I want to say as well is just the pragmatic elements of like the university as well. Like, because if you look at the whole world, like everyone can be a footballer, everyone can be an actor, So the mass majority of people would, in terms of like working a job, most people, when they want to go into jobs, most people want to be middle class. Not everyone wants to be like high level or high class, and not everyone wants to be low class, right? This is just another pro. Like, it's a good and a pragmatic way for allocating everyone to do a certain thing whilst networking and all the things we said. But that's just what I wanted to say. But now I think we should just go into like,
no answer though. Like, is it dishonest?
Is it a scam? Or so I don't think it's a scam, like,
tell us
because first of all, there's pros, like there's networking. You're also learning stuff, like in the university. You're actually learning stuff. It's part of life. Like what's it called? I think there's two sides of it. It depends on like the fees as well. I think you're looking at it from an element of like payments and stuff like that. Because like I know here, like but like in like first world countries, like abroad, like you don't really pay. If you're a citizen, you don't really pay that much to actually study in university. Do you know that, Uzom? Like like me, like right now, right? Like even if I came from Nigeria, because I'm like Irish and stuff already, I'm not paying for university. I'm only paying like 40. Sorry, there's levies, like there's fees, right? But there's grants.
There's some first world countries that you don't actually have to pay for university education. Poland, one of them. I think
if you're German citizen,
European countries. If you're a citizen in the UK or in some school in the UK,
you don't have to pay.
That's subsidized or free.
So that's what I'm saying. You're saying if we use the word scam in terms of fraud, I can see what you're saying in terms of paying fees. That's where you're coming from, right?
That's not where we are coming.
You're talking about just university, even if you don't pay or not, like
the value you are expecting versus the value you get.
Like,
it's back to what also said. Like, it's all mind games, because your expectation, your expectation is based on your own mind. Like, so if.
But then if we're looking at it with the lens of scamming, there has to be a monetary value in it, no?
Not necessarily. Like a scam is
No, not necessarily. It can be scam. Yeah, it can be scam based on knowledge. It's a dishonest scheme. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
That's just
the word scam is fraud, like related. Like so you're saying.
Money is the clearest factor that we can single out.
Yeah.
Because
That's why I define scam. I said scam is like a dishonest scheme,
and that's why
like or fraud. You know.
I
So
answered based off that definition. You get
Yeah.
because even in those places where they have free universities, there's a reason why the university is free. I'm pretty sure it's being subsidized by the government. The teachers are still getting paid because the teachers will not be giving you free education if they are not getting paid. I promise you that nobody's going to build a whole infrastructure for you that will go online and do it yourself if they are not getting any profit off it. So it's not really free. In that situation, you could also call it a scam because they painted it as something that's free, but it's still not free. It's something that is
basically it's fraud on the taxpayers of that country.
Exactly.
Funding that.
So maybe they even have really like high tax like brackets and stuff like that, or fees and whatnot. But I have no idea of what goes on in Poland or whatnot. Or every university I've gone to I've paid for, so that's me. I'm speaking based off what I'm doing.
But I think in terms of like, if we want to be logical now and say, okay, what's the purpose of university? We've highlighted like networking, education, right? Those are like the two main.
I think it's just networking, though. I don't think it's education.
I think education is obviously is a third level education like university. That's what university is like, education has to be
there. Can I come in with one more? We need to actually define where exactly we're talking from. If we're talking in terms of, say, maybe a third world country, like, I'm sorry for saying this, Nigeria.
Why, sir?
I know it's a third world country, but I really want it to succeed. I really want it to succeed. Anyway, but that's it.
Sorry for yourself, that's carry on.
Different conversation for another day. In the place where I work, the telecommunications company, the boss at that place called us together, was just basically asking us, he was talking about something completely different, about how we're in the IT department, but we didn't study computer science. But then he went around and then noticed that each one of us had basically like a bachelor's in science degree or something like that. But then it actually showed me that, I know a couple of computer sciences that are really good that didn't have to have a degree. But then if you're looking for stability, if you're in that middle class level, stability, the thing is that the degree is going to get you that, which is why I was tying it to the funds earlier on. In Nigeria or wherever you are going to get your degree from, you are going to run into debt if you try and go that route, especially if it's something that you can actually learn off the internet. We are going to agree that we're going to give out engineering, and maybe law.
Yeah.
Every other thing we've said that we can get is from the internet. Problem with that is if you're applying for a job, like an entry-level job, most of them will require your certificate. And if you can't produce that, unless you know somebody, and that will tie into the whole networking game in university. Your networking game outside university has to be strong for you to get a shoe-in to an entry-level job that actually pays. Or you can just go into the university and then leverage on that already existing network. So that's the conundrum that's going through my head. And also, please, I beg, I'm going to be writing defense on this one. I beg, just so you know, yes. My degree is on.
Okay, so
I think this is a good segue into like pros and cons,
Yeah, because I wrote down some things. You were talking about stability. We're talking about it gives you easier access to jobs, stuff like that. Yeah, I just wanted to talk more on those 2 points. When they say the university gives you that security, it gives you that direct linkage to being in the middle class or upper, right? That's what everybody's saying, right?
Correction. It gives you access to stability. It doesn't give you stability. That was what we were talking about before, that we said that maybe they are telling us what we think that it gives us the access. It doesn't give us.
Yeah, that's what most people think. Most people don't think like you. Most people think it gives you the money itself. Like once you're in university, you have the money. So I want us to talk about that and why do people think about that? Like why is it a thing?
That's actually a good question. So like I was just looking up, like you guys know like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? The second
Please,
Yeah.
please say it,
So-
Abeg, please.
So like, by Maslow's hierarchy,
Everybody
it's just
went to
like
school.
a triangle. Like so, like so. Uzom, like, there's no way you don't know this, right? You guys know it, right? Ralph and
Yeah.
Yeah, these are
So
students now.
basically-
Do I look like a student?
basically like
It's a bit telling that we actually went to school.
Exactly.
Yeah,
These are
like-
people that went to school now.
there are different hierarchy of needs. So it starts with like physiological needs, then safety needs, then you know, our level of needs. Anyways, the reason I'm bringing this up is because you said security, right? And that's a basic need, is a safety need, right? All of us as human beings. What was your question again?
Yes, first I said what is
add points.
stability and why is it so important to
yes.
people, and why are people connecting stability with university? Yeah.
So we all know we're living in this world. We all want to be financially stable, not just financially stable, emotionally stable, and all these kind of things. But we all want to at least have a nice paying job and be able to take care of ourselves, and if we have a family, right? So what university allows for is, okay, I'm going to go through said number of years, 4 years, get a degree. With that degree, I'm able to get a job which can provide money for me, you know. So that's the whole linking stuff in the whole university thing. It's just a step to one of our basic needs, which is security and safety, you know.
And
So
also, I think part of the appeal of university is that the way it's presented nowadays, it's like the path of least resistance. Because if you don't go to university, then you have to do things like, okay, say you freelance, you have to network by yourself, you have to start a business and all that.
Or push
And
drugs.
To be honest,
Don't
most
forget
people,
that.
yeah, exactly, push
you're
drugs,
drugging now.
prostitution,
Yeah, no.
everything.
Medicine, medicine students now.
That's steady now, pharmacy. But most people don't want to do that, and as a result of that, they kind of want the benefits of putting in that effort, but they don't want to put the effort in itself. And I think one of the main pitches of university and university degrees and the prestige that comes with the university is that, okay, you basically have this seal so that you don't need to put yourself out there and actually work to garner yourself a reputation. You can just hitchhike off the reputation of the school. And then you can use that reputation to get into the workforce and everything. So I think that's actually one of the main appeals of universities. Because if you talk to most normal people about not going to university, the way they talk about it is like, do you actually want to start a business? Do you know how difficult that is? Do you actually want to get into freelancing? Do you know how stressful that is? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, in the end, like, you just have to choose your own compromise, I guess. Because one bad thing with university is that typically, because a degree is so mass producible, it means that you're not really valuable, like a valuable worker, just because of your degree. So if you're just hanging on degrees, you're basically just a commodity.
People have this idea that once you're in the university, you are safe for life, and that's a lie. That is a lie. You are not safe for life, because you know what happens when you need to
wait,
like
how do
now.
you know people have this idea, Uzom? Like,
People,
who
because
told you?
I've spoken to lots of people. I've spoken to lots of people, especially like guys from my school. Like when I brought up the topic that I was going to drop out, I had a lot of like people like talking to me about the whole topic. I got to understand the basic understanding of how people think. Because once I say, I'm dropping out of the university, the first thing they think about is this guy doesn't want to learn anymore. This guy doesn't want to associate himself with knowledge, and that is not the truth. Because I'm dropping out doesn't mean I don't want to learn. Me, I'm speaking for myself. Maybe other people, I don't know. But because I've evaluated it and I say, I don't need this path. Because at the end of the day, we said it's a path, right? If I say I don't need to follow this particular path, because if I'm following this path, it means I'm going to be working to show this certificate to somebody so they give me this particular job or something like that. But if I am not thinking that way, because I feel at the end of the day, if you want to employ somebody, yes, the university degree or the certificate gets you into the door, but does it keep you there?
If you think about it, the thing with the whole university system being a scam. Yeah, and we've all been turning back and going full circle and saying it's financial. If you talk about wasting that amount of money and then repaying it back, until you die and then you possess your stuff. You are right. We need to, start thinking of cheaper alternatives online, definitely. And also, you need to condition your mind, obviously, that okay, this is the only way.
Exactly.
This is my only way of breaking out of. Some people call it matrix, some people call it system, whatever you call it. Be your own guide. But also, I liked what something my vice chancellor said at one point in time, and some people found this controversial because they thought that she was pushing people away from going to her university. But she said that universities now are going out of fashion. It came up around that point when the Nigerian economy was starting to get crazy. that she said that if you can't afford university, don't go.
Very
There
simple.
are other alternatives. There are other alternatives. She made mention of online school. She made mention of polytechnics, and that's an interesting one.
That's something most university, what do you call it, counselors don't say. That even points us to the direction that, okay, these guys are actually just trying to make money at this point, because what other reason would there be? What other reason would there be? What other reason would there be for you to blind, like you go outside, someone in your house tells you the sky is green, you say okay, you go outside, you look up, you see a blue sky, and you now convince your own self, no, that guy said the sky is green. Like what? That's what's happening, and it's actually sad.
That goes back to what I said earlier. The universities at the beginning, the whole idea, the concept was independent thought, making people think for themselves, giving them the basic foundation, like you said, but then sending them out and they say, go get use cases, look out, I've said this, go and find out if it's really the real world. Now it's, pay us money, we will give you the tools, we'll give you the this, the that. And bye-bye.
And if you don't get it, we'll make life hard for you. You will not get any job. We'll make sure that's the requirement for you to get even accepted into a job, like interview. Like, so they just make the whole thing reliant on something that's actually a cake and not really, not really what it is. The end result should never be the goal. It's the process.
It's
the
means.
Activity. It's what you learn along the lines of getting to the goal that gets you to the goal.
But human beings are naturally lazy, like in general, right? So if you tell someone, okay, like if I told you don't have to work and I'll give you 2 million right now, would you like? Come on, like
it depends on
the easiest option.
It depends.
I mean, there's a point. There's a reason why scams, why all these
But I was going to say it depends on the human being in particular, because just the way they are scammers. Why is everyone not a scammer? Because there has to be people making the money, right? So that you can scam, right? There has to be people. No. Scammers will exist.
I think every human being is like lazy to a certain degree. Like if they got what they wanted with less work, they will go for that option. If
that is what I'm saying. Let me tie that down to something people don't really understand, right? Some people want to be millionaires, billionaires off just brute hard work, right? And that's possible. But what some people don't understand is if you dedicate 5 years, 10 years of your life on a particular craft, focused, like always open your mind to learning and upgrading yourself for 10 years, for the rest of like 60 years, you might not have to work. That's what people don't really get. Like people think, oh yeah, if I do this 5 years of university, it's going to guarantee that I will increase my intrinsic value to this particular level, and all I have to do is just walk. But that kills you. You're using time.
What they want to do, though, like
that's what they think they want to do.
They have like an end goal in mind, and they are told that this is the way to get to the end goal. So, for example, you just get a job and you just save for like the next 30 years, and then when you're 60, you can finally retire and buy your house and buy and all that. And they don't know that there's other alternatives that they can actually basically compress and even exponentially increase, to be honest. The amount of money that they would have earned in 40 years, you can basically earn it in 7.
I disagree with you, bro. I don't think they don't know. I think today, if you don't know, like there are other alternatives to university, then you're stupid. Do you guys think is a financial scam? So, like for instance, if you pay to go to university for said 4 years, and at the end you get your degree, right? But you lack, as I was saying, you lack knowledge in that field, and you still have debts in loans to pay, and then you're working a job that's paying less, for instance, than the amounts of loans you have. Like, what do you guys think in that aspect?